The empire is losing its mind because the wedding of the century is about to happen. Decano Taisen, the cold, rich, and overworked duke, is engaged to Evangeline Ahara, the polite, wealthy, and emotionally exhausted daughter of Count Ahara. Everyone celebrates the union of two powerful families, but behind closed doors, this engagement is a disaster. Right before the wedding, Evangeline calmly says, "Let's cancel it," and Decano freezes, asking, "What did you just say?" A few months earlier at the Taisen estate, Decano asks about his schedule, and Evangeline lists his work like a secretary, documents, meetings, and a banquet. He tells her she should manage these things on her own by now. The banquet turns out to be her birthday celebration, and yes, he plans to skip it again. She softly asks if she should fix his tie, he refuses, and she smiles through the disappointment, reminding herself that this is a loveless political marriage. A maid enters, and Evangeline casually asks for her meal, tea, and her daily medicine, then heads to her own birthday banquet alone. Guests admire the hall, but gossip spreads fast. Where's the Duke? Too busy. Still rude. This marriage is only about money. Evangeline overhears everything, walks over with a calm smile, and tells them to enjoy the party and maybe drink a little if things feel awkward. Suddenly, someone calls her over, saying her father sent a surprise gift. Diamonds, land, or a vacation, maybe. She opens the letter and everything falls apart. Count Ahara is missing, his ship vanished, his trading company is collapsing, and the Ahara family is now bankrupt. Evangeline keeps her composure and asks to summon their trusted aide immediately. Meanwhile, Decano is at work when his friend Phylan mocks him for skipping his fiancée's birthday again, and jokes about rumors surrounding their engagement. At that moment, Evangeline walks in, asks to speak with him, and shuts down his excuses. She tells him the truth clearly. Her family has lost everything, her father is missing, and now, for the first time, she finally has his full attention. He asks, "What?" and Evangeline explains that all the merchant ships have sunk and her father is missing, then asks if he is willing to listen now. He asks if she is certain, and even though this is an arranged marriage, and he has always treated her coldly, this is not the time for pride. She asks for his help and begs him to gather soldiers and search the Rim Sea immediately, but instead he tells her to go back, shocking her completely. He explains that since she rushed to the palace, rumors must already be spreading, and if things grow bigger, it will become harder to control. She reminds him that her father's situation is unclear, and there is no time to waste, but he still tells her to go back. She thinks bitterly that her father could be gone forever, yet she is being told to sit quietly at home just to avoid gossip. She tells him that if he will not help her, she will help herself, but he stops her and tells her to wait and stay put, saying that this is her duty as the future Duchess, and that he will inform her once there is news. She wonders if there is truly nothing she can do except wait. Back at the estate, a whole day passes as Evangeline anxiously waits, wondering when news will come, and what she will do if something happened to her father. She remembers the late Duchess, the only person who was ever kind to her, and thinks that if she was still alive, she would have convinced the Duke. Just then, Rex, the Duke's huge lion hound, runs over, and she thanks him for comforting her. Decano returns, and she immediately asks if there is any news. He says nothing has been confirmed yet, which makes sense, but she says she cannot just sit still and wants to go near the accident site to look for traces. He tells her not to do anything reckless, saying she would only cause trouble, and she asks if he expects her to simply watch. She explains that as the heir, not just as a daughter, she needs to know what is happening because her father is her only family. Decano says her father has not been confirmed gone yet, but even if he is, she must think about the bigger picture, because losing both the merchant lord and his fortune is already bad enough, and as she becomes the center of gossip, the entire Ahara company will collapse. He adds that even if the Count returns alive, it may already be too late, and tells her to do as he says. Evangeline realizes he keeps telling her to wait without offering a real solution, so she decides she will sneak out and investigate herself, But what she does not know is that earlier that same day, Decano had already taken action. Decano abruptly ends a meeting while Phylan struggles to speak to him about a sensitive matter, noticing that his mood changed after meeting Lady Ahara. Phylan finally approaches him and starts to explain, but Decano cuts him off and orders him to take soldiers to the Rimmon Sea immediately. Phylan is shocked and asks why, pointing out that the Rimmon Sea is in Calais territory, a land they recently fought against. Decano calmly replies that there is a ceasefire now, hands him a check, and asks if that will be enough for travel expenses. A few days later, Evangeline rushes to the Ahara Trading Company, confused because Philip said everything was ruined, yet the place looks calm and perfectly fine. Philip sees her and nervously asks why she came, and she answers that with her father missing, of course she has to check things herself. He awkwardly tells her she should not be there right now, which immediately raises her suspicion, because he looks like someone hiding a secret. She realizes the rumors about her father have not spread at all and starts wondering if Decano is secretly controlling things behind the scenes, and that thought annoys her, because even if she has lost her father and her wealth, she will not let anyone use what belongs to her. She firmly reminds Philip that until her father's fate is confirmed, she is the rightful owner of the company. Before he can explain, someone calls her name, and she turns to see Viscountess Revan, a distant relative of the Tazin family, pretending to be worried and saying she is relieved Evangeline looks healthy. Evangeline immediately wonders why this woman is even here, probably to grab more valuables, because ever since the engagement, her father generously handed out gifts to people related to the duchy, and they kept coming back for more. Back then, she felt uncomfortable, but her father always told her that nothing was too precious for her, and only now does she truly understand how deeply he loved her. The Viscountess suggests tea, acting like they are family, but Evangeline sees right through it, knowing they are just waiting for her to weaken so they can take something from her. This time, she refuses to play along, politely says she has urgent business, and leaves. The Viscountess calls after her, insisting on a private talk, but Evangeline says another time and walks away, already exhausted. Suddenly, the Viscountess grabs her, and Evangeline tells her to stop, and then chaos breaks out when a maid suddenly attacks her, shouting cruel words and blaming her for everything. Guards immediately restrain the maid. Philip checks on Evangeline, and orders the maid arrested. Evangeline realizes the maid is likely related to someone from the ship accident, and then notices Tazin knights appearing instantly, as if they were waiting for this to happen. Her suspicion is confirmed when Decano appears and calmly asks if she feels better now that she ignored his orders and came out anyway. She replies that she only did what she had to do, as the master of the company, and cannot stay locked away forever without answers. He tells her to remain quiet until their wedding, which shocks her, and she asks how he can talk about marriage when her family has fallen and her father is missing. He asks if her father was her only family, and she answers yes. Her mother left long ago, she has no siblings, and even the former duchess, the only one who showed her kindness, is gone. The silence grows heavy, and Evangeline can only wonder why he is doing all of this, and what he truly wants from her. Decano leans closer and asks what happened to her, and she casually says it is just a scratch. He asks if she plans to tell him what really happened, then shrugs and decides to do things his way. He calls a guard, Michael, and orders him to seal the west entrance immediately. Michael hesitates and reminds him that the area traditionally belongs to the Duchess, but Decano shuts that down fast and says no one enters without his permission. Evangeline thinks, here he goes again, controlling her like she is some prized item, and wonders if that is all she is to him. He asks if she is finally ready to talk. She flatly says no and turns to leave. Michael apologizes, saying they never expected something like today to happen. Decano coldly asks who dared to scratch his woman's face, shocking the guard with those words. Michael explains it was likely a sailor's family member, and warns that harsh punishment could hurt the Duke's image, so it might be better to let it go. Decano says the real issue is that someone leaked the information, because news like this should take weeks to spread, yet even a sailor's family knew before the heir herself. Something is clearly wrong. Either there is a survivor spreading rumors, or someone under his command is talking too much. Michael panics and swears it was not him, and Decano orders him to find out who started the rumors about the shipwreck. By the next day, the Ahara tragedy spreads across the entire empire at lightning speed. Evangeline is shocked, and after the west entrance is sealed, she finds herself confined to the annex. She thought being trapped would feel unbearable, but instead it is the heavy feeling in her chest that hurts the most, like a place once familiar no longer feels like home. Suddenly, she sees a crowd outside shouting for her to take responsibility, and she wonders how they even got there. Decano walks in asking what all the noise is about, and one of the men boldly says they are here for fair compensation. Decano replies that if they have business, they should enter properly instead of barging in. The man tries to explain, but Decano cuts him off and says he will summon a lawyer and handle it calmly, which leaves the man thanking him. Decano then turns to Evangeline and asks why she is outside again, and she apologizes and quietly goes back in. She wonders why he is not angry, why he does not even scold her for bringing trouble to the duchy, and realizes his calm concern feels strange and unreadable. Count Lian suddenly appears, shocked that debt collectors dared to storm the Taisen estate. Decano asks why he did nothing, and Lian brushes it off. The Duke sharply asks if the future Duchess being surrounded like that is truly unimportant. Lian then asks the real question, whether Decano still plans to marry her. Decano thinks bitterly about how everyone gladly accepted Ahara gifts when money flowed, but abandoned her the moment it vanished, calling them disgraceful. He answers firmly that he does not care what others think, because there is no one more suitable to be Duchess than Evangeline. Please subscribe, like and comment for part 2 and more recap stories. I hope you enjoyed watching. See you soon.